Hello, my name is Marek and I am continuing my series on simplifying men's relationships, and today I'm focusing on simplifying men's relationships with perfection. And to do that, I'm going to use a quote by Heraclitus. By the way, I had to look up how you pronounce Heraclitus. There's actually a YouTube channel with like 500,000 subscribers that has nothing but pronunciations, and I'm glad I did it, because if I didn't, I would have embarrassed myself and you'd be like, who is this guy talking about? But it's actually Heraclitus, who is a philosopher who lived 2,500 years ago. He is what is considered to be a pre-Socratic philosopher. So he lived even before Socrates. And everybody knows Socrates lived a long time ago. Well, Heraclitus actually lived before him. And the quote is, "The only constant is change." So the interesting thing is that 2,500 years ago, as you can imagine, people were different, technology was different, but what surprisingly was the same is the fact that they face change just like we do. Even though we consider ourselves to be a lot more sophisticated, these guys back then had the same challenges, that the challenge of facing change. That is something they wrestled with even 2,500 years ago. Another idea that came to my mind is the idea of bracketing, which I learned when I was an infantry officer. And the whole idea is that when you call in for fire, as you can imagine, the artillery piece is tens of miles away from you, so obviously you cannot see the target, so you have to give the coordinates to the fire center so they can orient the artillery piece in the right way. But as you can imagine, since they do not have the eyes on the objective and you are estimating the coordinates, because back then you don't have fancy things like laser rangefinder or GPS, you have to do it manually with a map. Inevitably your first round would always miss. And so what happened is they would teach you this method of bracketing. So let's say your first round overshot, you want to make sure that your next round undershoots. And the reason why you do that is now all of a sudden you have two limits, and then you can start splitting the difference, and eventually you'll be able to get close enough to the target. Because the thing about it is that the kill zone of your average artillery piece is about 50 meters. So you don't have to hit the target dead on, you just have to be within 50 meters. And so that's why when you do this bracketing, eventually you get close enough to hit your target within 50 meters, which is good enough to cause the damage that you want to cause. So to tie those two things together is, my friends, isn't it sometimes the most difficult thing to do is to get started? Because just as with bracketing, in order to be able to get close to that target, you gotta start. You gotta shoot that first round knowing that you're gonna miss. And I think that as an average person, average guy, we all want to be perfect, and so it's hard for us to take that first step because we know that it's not going to be perfect. Yet, that's exactly what needs to happen for this bracketing method to work out. So my friends, if you're watching this, I encourage you, please take that first step. And then what you're going to be able to do is use that bracketing method to get close to enough to what you want to accomplish. And even though it won't be perfect, it will be good enough to accomplish the work. One good example from my life right now is I'm going through Founder Institute because I have an idea for an app that I believe is going to encourage habit, that's going to make a big difference in people's relationships. That's my belief. We'll see what happens. But it just so happens that tomorrow we're going to do our 3-minute pitches. And at first I was like, oh my God, how can I explain this in 3 minutes? And guess what? I didn't want to take that first step because I knew that first step is going to be less than perfect. It's going to be embarrassing. But I forced myself to keep working on it, however bad it was. And lo and behold, eventually I was able to come up with a pitch. Is it perfect? No. But is it way better than I thought it would be? Oh, yes. Is it going to be effective? Stay tuned for that. So my friends, if you found this video helpful, please share, subscribe, like, and until next time, God bless and talk to you soon.